Hello, my name is Gary Nealon. This is my project, The News Media and Social Media Influences in Politics, The Change in Technology. For future reference, all pictures that are utilized as imagery for supplement learning for the slides are all reserved rights for the Google searches that I have looked up. This section of the slide is going to be showing traditional media. As you see in the picture, top left is the radio, top right is the newspaper, and the bottom is the TV news. A lot of these were the traditional mediums that were used by people in the earlier 20th century and later dates. That were pretty much the only means of communication during the time, and not much divergence of medium, a lot of cross-sectionalism from these outlets. And the modern day media specifically, as you see in the picture, for what possibly could be something you have utilized, internet has evolved and had people make new platforms that people use. Facebook is a commonality that people use to keep in touch. Instagram is a very image focused system of posts of your daily life. LinkedIn, a work-related website to get jobs and to be able to sell yourself. Snapchat, very personal, very simple, just images and messaging for one another. Email, it's grown to be more business-oriented, but people can use it for being casual in speaking. In the emergence of the internet and more social media outlets being used for politics, it has been clarified by the article that I have read from my sources at the end of this is mediaization, the use of media platforms to gain political publicity or self-interest gains by example of speech on television, tweeting out to public, being a part of interviews, and speaking on podcasts or radio. A good example of this mediaization, as you can see, the Apprentice, a show that's an American with Donald Trump, is on the top right. The article, The Influence of Presumed Media Influence in Politics, gives an example of a story of in Israel, an Apprentice version, very popular, worked in an organization with the MK party in Israel during the time period to establish policies and legislation that they were trying to get passed. And the mediaization was used. Politicians saw this as an opportunity to get their way and be in the limelight that could be used for self-interest. And they took time to stop their legislation and policies that they had on the front of their agenda to just get what was done for the show, to get publicity. Reasons of utilizing mediaization: many politicians seek re-election, waiting for more votes, as you see on the top. Fame and self-interest. Legacy. Some people are really having a legacy. You can see that with Donald Trump. He is very fixated on imagery and what people think of him. Image or an allusion to public elected officials working for the public. So this is just wanting to have people think of them positively. Maybe they don't feel like voting because they don't feel the need, because the person's doing their job, or maybe they vote and they feel that, oh, well, this guy is doing a good job. I will vote for him rather than the person that's going against them. Political weaponization of social media and platforms like mediaization has grown because of the profitability of platforms. The ability to track and sell consumer activity on the internet has been humongous. A good example is Michael Bloomberg, who put $2 billion. He put all of it on the ads for him on the media, and it brought him all the way to no popularity, to 15%, not even being on a debate platform, showing how just name recognition and knowing what people do in the selling of consumer-based consumption, they can put the ads where they want. Messaging instantly to the people, your thoughts and actions, have allowed people to feel like they're part of the politics and they're part of the person they represent. Trump's a good example. Like right now with the pandemic, his popularity dropped by 10% prior to the pandemic to around the high 30s to low 40s for some polls. And specifically for the pandemic, just because he's been messaging and talking about the pandemic, his approval rating jumped like about the 54% relatively to whatever poll you look at. And that just shows the power of message instantaneously. And then making a positive action, negative action to get free publicity. Money is the game. And negative or positive, if you can get on news media platforms and just be seen, it is humongous, and it is a big deal because Trump used it very well, being just a nasty, ugly person during the election, but people were mad at the system, and so they voted because they're mad. My thoughts on the evolution that is for mediaization platforms and everything is mediaization is growing to grow and never end because it just benefits politicians, and there is a trend of using social media platforms to gain votes is a strong correlation. And news media is going to further transition, evolve to the internet and smart devices. You can see with a lot of corporatist traditional media that is going on to YouTube and trying to make YouTube bids, and they're purposely being put in front of the YouTube algorithm to get a better position rather than independent news media outlets by individuals. Politicians will grow to use the media for political interests. A lot of people use it to gain elections and re-elections, things like that. Individuals with almost infinite amount of information will grow to seek their views, indirectly decreasing cross sectionalism for ideas. So now people are trying to be sensationalists and trying to get other outlets. And this has grown to be a detriment in a way for people not believing what's right and wrong. So it's very important now that we figure out a way for people to be good consumers in today's world, because politicians are using that like, how can you believe people say I'm bad if you can't believe what you read? Hello, this is my works cited to the 2 scholarly articles that I got from Google that went into mediaization and the evolution of platforms and politicians using it for their betterment. For self-interest or the public good. And I just want to tell everybody who watches this video, please stay healthy, stay inside, care for your neighbor, and just be good people and try to make the best of everything. I hope to see you for the next fall. Have a lovely spring.